what?
Don't do it now.
Do my nose. Bug for my nose. You going to that place?
No, we're going to do this. We're going to do the one that I showed you.
Or the pre-on place?
My man, D and J, whatever.
You what?
D and J, whatever it was.
I hear you.
D and J. Remember I said it?
Yeah. You sit in the bed.
Mm-hmm.
How's the ambiance in that little place?
I go to
It's
all right.
you know, Egg and Iggy, wherever y'all went to today.
It's okay. Yeah, it's
Just a
okay.
little sit down place.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's a nice little sit down spot.
I think he if I'm mistaken, in Denver or LA. I mean,
Yeah, it's a nice little sit down spot.
might have been Iggy or whatever.
Yeah, it was a nice spot. Nice spot. So it was a nice little sit down spot. Put my eyes on. Peace, peace. Give me 1 second. Hope everybody having a good day. Give me a second. And preview a little health and wellness. Two chapters that really, the whole book is a great piece of science, but it's a chapter in here that stuck out. It's actually, I'm gonna go over 2 chapters that really stuck out to me, but before I get into that, it's the other couple, the Lost Remedies. The Lost Book of Remedies is amazing. You know, we got a lot of key things in here. Tapping into our forefathers' wisdom of natural healing. I mean, it says that right in chapter 1. And I have all these for you today. Like I said, if anybody want these PDF, we also print and bind them. But you can get them PDF on your phone or your tablet so you can travel with them and have them and study them. You don't have to take nobody course in there. You just need a good map and guide to get the information. That's what it's about. Sharing it. And then you must apply it. A person can talk about this and that, but you have to apply it. And not only that, but mixing it with working out and, you know, eating right, sleeping right, all those other things that go into productive life. But this one is the Lost Book of Remedies, this one. And in this one is the Lost Book of Remedies. Like I said, chapter 1 is talking about tapping into our forefathers' wisdom of natural healing, how to tap into a world of information, And that's what I like to share with people. Nothing is hidden. When people say, oh, it's hidden from us, and the reason we don't know, it's nothing hidden. We just have to admit that some of us are not introduced or available to even be in the room with the source. And not only be in the room, share it. And one, admit that we may need, how can I say, assistance. That's honorable. And so we go around acting or portraying or dressing up. And it's not, how can I say, holistic per se. So why people want or need natural remedies, pain and inflammation relief, general pain. Then it starts talking about some specifics like willow bark, turmeric, wasabi. I love wasabi. Powerful oils to reduce pain, Epsom salt, cabbage leaves, headache, potato slices, toothaches. Chapter 4 talks about coughs, colds, flus. I mean, it has so much. Chickweed herb and mullein leaves. I do a mullein and a pine needle that'll kick any, try it when you sick or got a cold or anything and get back with me. Get you some mullein and some pine needle. You can get both of them and mix them like a warm tea and tell me how you feel. It's going to kick it. You're going to sweat like a mug and be tired the next day, but I guarantee you it's going to do some magic. Guarantee. Hot rum and peppermint, hot caramel drink, mustard, turnips, calming a cough, snail extract syrup. Then it talks about all that stuff in a nutshell. Soothing a sore throat. Then they jumped in chapter 5, talks about skin irritations and cuts, skin irritations and rashes, cinnamon and honey, walnut leaves, potato, chamomile tea. Am I saying that right, babe? Chamomile tea. I'm sorry, chamomile tea, poison ivy, and then you got for cuts, scratches, and bruises. Lavender essential oil, cayenne pepper. Then it talks about miscellaneous ailments with natural remedies. I'm just giving you the chapters in one of these books, and we're gonna as we demonstrate the rest. Miscellaneous ailments with natural remedies. That's on page 29. Candida or yeast, conjunctivitis. Candida yeast. Yep. Diarrhea, abnormal discomfort, motion sickness, calcium deficiency, corns, hangovers, conclusions. So I'll give a little introduction. It seems that no matter how old we get or what era we were born in, the attraction and importance of learning from our forefathers and past generations is always there. And I don't care what religion you are, but if you understand monotheism, the biblical scriptures tell you how to shake off anything. And what does it say? Prayer and fasting. I don't care what nobody say. You can try to play it if you want to. Those are two keys. Prayer and fasting. Even in the biblical scriptures, it talks about certain foods. When everybody say, well, the Lord said everything is clean, it's clean, it's good, it's good, it's good. Okay, well, you can just say Islam or amen over some dead carcass and it's good. I hear you. I hear you, your context. I hear you. Especially why children are taught history in school, because learning from those who have already been through it and tried it can be beaten. Trying something for the first time isn't nearly as intimidating if there has been some form of trial and error, rather than stepping up to the guinea pig. So we pay attention to history and what past generations have gone through before our time can now teach us. Just like soul food. When you saw, remember being on Soul Food, the TV series on Big Mama, she passed. And then I say, well, what did Big Mama pass from? That food. Diabetes, sugar, heart attack. And then what the kids do, celebrate, they eat the same thing. Those were passed down things. When people say it's hereditary, no, those, how can I say it, destructive eating habits is passed down. That is passed down. When I say this is our culture, no, that's not our culture. It's the way that mental thinks on that level. It's how that thinks, but that's not our culture. Can't say that. Now we understand in certain types of history when certain things you had to eat because that's what you had, but we're not there. But anyway, let's proceed because I want to get deep with it. It's a wonder why we have solid knowledge and expectations when attempting to do something new to you while not new to others. If someone else has already attempted it, regardless of what it might be, it tends to give us some peace of mind. Even though we can do that to some degree from people of our own generation who have attempted it recently, it doesn't give us the useful and powerful knowledge of what long-term use and abuse could have on us. In other words, learning from our past generations can save us some future misery and discomfort. You will hear people that's operate in their lower self, well, you're going to die anyway. I say, well, don't take a bath. You're going to stink tomorrow. Don't eat today. You're going to be hungry the next day. Some of that stuff is meaningless. I call it barbershop talk. You want to live as productive as possible. I'll give an analogy. Say if you have a vehicle and your tire blow out. You're going to put a donut on it, maybe just to get home, but I hope you ain't going to say, well, I'll ride this donut for good. Your car is not riding on its maximum capabilities, and it can. I'm using that as an analogy. In other words, learning from our past generations can save us some future misery. Medicine, whether it be a traditional prescription by a licensed medical professional or a good old-fashioned home and natural remedy, is no different. I even share documents from that I've done in lectures in academia where I get from the peer reviewed libraries and showed you how certain families changed the medical history because herbs and all this, it was proven that these things work. Or a good old-fashioned home remedy, natural, is no different. Whether it is traditional, new, natural, or alternative medicine and remedies, having some well-worn experience and knowledge on it will help you choose a good option for your individual for various circumstances, conditions, and ailments. However, for this piece of science right here, this book, going to focus on natural, home, and worldwide cures and remedies. In other words, a remedy that you won't need a prescription written out, just examining some information and background on the experience of our forefathers and past generations. Some people will classify the information we are going to cover as alternative. However, while alternative medicine is often described as unorthodox medicine, some of it still requires a medical license or training to administer, such as acupuncture and chiropractic treatments. Instead, we are going to focus on treatment and remedies that do not require any type of license or degree to administer. However, as with any treatment, make sure to do your own research and know your body and how it reacts to certain ingredients before you try a new treatment. New to you, that is, not to our ancestors. A natural or home remedy is a treatment or cure for ailment that utilizes natural ingredients such as vegetables, plants, or spices. These remedies are becoming increasingly more popular due to expensive or traditional medicine, not to mention the hassle of getting in for, doctor's appointments or, how the insurance companies may do. I'm just quoting the author. But mostly people are looking for holistic ways to treat their bodies rather than masking symptoms. Another important reason people are seeking natural options is that they don't have the side effects of conventional medicines. You ever hear on the TV, yes, I can stop your fingernails from breaking off, but all your teeth gonna fall out. All your eyelashes gonna fall out. But your fingernails gonna grow. And they're gonna say it real fast. You're gonna have this, but your fingernails gonna grow. Well, man, I think I don't need no fingernails. You don't understand what I'm saying? But mostly people are looking for holistic ways to treat their bodies rather than masking symptoms. Another important reason people may seek these alternative ways, you may call alternative, like I said, no side effects, or the side effects of conventional medicines. Sometimes they can be horrific. Hallucinations, etc., loss of appetite, a lack of erection, so on and so forth. One of the most popular natural remedies in the U.S. is chicken soup. And this is what I tell a lot of people when they go to the store and get chicken soup out the can. Campbell's, don't ever do that. And I'm not knocking. I'm just telling you that it's nothing. And I don't know why people do that. You're gonna go give me some chicken soup. I said you just defeated the purpose. You just defeated the purpose. You just defeated the purpose. But anyway, it's a common act to bring chicken soup to some is sick or make your own when you have a cold. While it's known to help with the common cold, it doesn't have any side effects such as drowsiness, constipation, or any other unfavorable effects. How? So what he's saying is making your own. An important thing to remember, though, is that as good as natural remedy can be, it should not take the place of sound advice and tests from a physician. The remedies we will discuss in this piece of science are not a miracle cure, nor should they be in place of recommended treatments by the medical fields for serious conditions. Also be aware of your own body and what it does and doesn't react to, such as adverse reactions to something you could be allergic to when digested or applied. Just like I tell a lot of people, a lot of things that you rub on your skin is going to go to your blood. So be careful of those things as well. If any of these remedies talk about it in the upcoming chapters lead to your condition worsening or another condition popping up, you should seek professional help. In fact, seeking approval of your doctor ahead of time is recommended. So, like I said, in this piece, it talks about so much. I don't want to stay in it, but I just want to show you because I'm going to offer all these to you. I also gathered and compiled a Healthy and Eating Living book of my own some years ago. And when I was lecturing on college campus, I got my dual master's degree from GCU, and I gave it to a lot of students. This is another one. It's called The Lost Book of Superfoods. This one is by Mary Newman. This one is by, oh, man, you ain't print that cover for me. That's okay, though. You don't need to. This one is by The Lost Book of Superfoods. Let me write it down before I won't forget. Oh, I got it saved in my phone. I'll show y'all that one last before I demonstrate the book. You got my tea bag? Okay, so this one right here is amazing. So this one thing I always talk about. I want to say, and I want to be very, 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 how can I say it? I don't want to be disrespectful to no one, but it's not one way. When a person says, "Oh, I just do this," and I say, "You have to work out, you have to eat right, you have to this and that and the other." It's when people say they're just going to eat fruit. I mean, like just eating fruit, and I say, "Okay, well, how are you eating it raw? Are you blending it? What? It's so many things. Do you know your blood level? This and that and the other? Because a lot of things that you would do just listening to a person can spike your sugar, can spike your blood sugar. Things that you do just listen to a person, if you don't know what you're doing, and you say you just like, oh, I'm just gonna lose weight and drink all watermelon juice, but that is sugar. I mean, when people say, "What's natural sugar?" I don't care. Okay, great. Great. Well, it's natural. Listen, I'm telling you. Always check, because fruits is sugar. You can drink watermelon juice all day, and that is sugar. And I don't recommend nobody just drinking watermelon juice. I don't. I would never, because I don't recommend nothing. Everything I give you is for educational purposes only, and I'm a testimony. I'm getting ready to be 48. Well, I said getting ready to be. I just turned 48, January 19th. Duh. I don't even know my birthday. But I just turned 48, January 19th. I run 5 miles every day, every single day. I don't take any pills. I'm not just drinking those smoothies or watermelon juice. I do drink those every day because I eat clean. I try to eat the certain grains and things to keep my energy up. I'm trying some new things like bone broth, to add to my cleansing daily. to keep nutrients and certain things. And I always tell people to research bone broth, research it for yourself. See, can you take it? All these things. I tell everybody, when you're dealing with me, I'm here to teach you, to educate you. For what? For you can go out and research something, you know? And so this piece of science is amazing. But it's the Lost Book of Superfoods. And I'll just give you a preface of, let's talk about fermentation, freezing, canning, cooling, drying, smoking, hardtack, making hardtack, the variations of it, how you store it, how to eat hardtack, jerky, pemmican. I have to see what is that. What is pemmican? I have to see what that is, because I must have missed that. Yeah. I'm gonna turn to it real fast, because I know other people might want to know too. So it's talking about storability and mobility, and it's saying like these foods should be compact and lightweight. Remember that you are aiming to store large amounts of these foods over long periods of time. Keeping them small and light makes storage in a dark, dry spot much easier. In addition, in the rare event that you decide to leave your home, you can easily pack these foods to take with you. And this, when people be talking about when this happened, they're gonna do this. Man, you don't even know how to can. You don't even know how to ferment. Like when people talk about they'll make a fire, you don't even know how to make a fire. Then when you make a fire, okay, then what? How would you keep the fire going? What would you do? I'll give you one, because I was the Boy Scout. I learned a lot of keys. You're going to get you some rocks, some big rocks, and you can put right around that fire. Why? Because them rocks going to get hot. That's going to keep that fire going. That's going to keep it warm. That's going to keep a certain amount of temperature. How them hot rocks. You see what I'm saying? And then you need to know what type of things that's outside that growing that you can eat. That won't give no harm to you. Then you have to have a certain chemical with you that you can get that water and have your little natural chemicals and put that dirty water in there and hold it and strain it, and it eliminates all the bacteria and things. Then you can test it and you can have natural drinking water. See, all these things must be learned when you're dealing with people that as radicals are mad at everything. I said, man, you understand what I'm saying? This is the clock of death. We teach this. Well, you want to teach life skills, real life skills. It also talks about the cost of these things, and there is no way we could call these superfoods if they wouldn't be cost effective. So that's why a lot of things are superfoods. They require simple, inexpensive ingredients with no specialized equipment. Literally anybody should be able to afford to make these foods and add them to their food supply. So I'll talk about like fermentation, but it gets specific talking about the process of it. Fermentation is one that is not discussed much, but it's used by most civilizations, accomplished by combining yeast and sugars in a way that preserves the liquid and produces alcohol. Whether used for trading or for yourself, knowing how to complete this process is very valuable. You can ferment fruits, vegetables, sugars, or milk. You simply add more sugar or honey until the yeast can no longer survive and the alcohol produced. The products produced can range from medicinal wines to produce used to kill bacteria in water or wounds. Did you hear what I just said? I'm gonna show y'all a product that I recommend, and the brother sell it a lot, and I think he got it on Amazon, where it purifies water. It's an amazing tool. I think a lot of military use it too. Also, freezing, is much difficult without electricity, but it talks about freezing when it comes to meat and fish. If you eat meat, I eat fish here and there. But freezing is far the best way to preserve your proteins. To keep the food fresh, you would need temperature to 32 Fahrenheit or below. Of course, canning, and then the cooling process. It talks about drying, how you dry it, like you know, how you make jerky, and that's what he said. I'm sorry, family. Okay. And jerky is a great thing, you know. But hardtack, you know, I just wanted to illuminate this hardtack thing. But even the history, the survival food has a long, proud history of proving its value. Both the ancient Roman and ancient Egyptian civilization used hardtack and typically gave it to their soldiers. Okay, Civil War soldiers were rationed several large biscuits per day and often used them as plates to eat perishable food. But making hardtack, the process of making this food is incredibly simple. This is one of the reasons it makes for a great survival food. You can make hardtack with only two ingredients, and you can make it in almost any condition, whether you have a gourmet kitchen, gas grill, camp stove, or a rustic campfire. You can make this simple, or you can make this staple. It starts with 2 cups of flour and slowly add water. Your goal is to make it into a constant dough that you can roll out and cut. It almost looked like when you watch I'm a martial art heads and you see them having that little ball look like bread per se. And if it gets too watery, add more flour. There is no point in kneading the dough since we are making bread. You know, you're not making it, but I'm just using that as an analogy. But then you add the flour, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to get in too much of, you know, the process. But then it talks about how you can do jerky. It breaks all that I was explaining in the text, how to make it. Now, mimicking. When Native Americans, and if I'm pronunciating that wrong, somebody please correct me. Pemmican or pemmican, Pemmican. When Native Americans first started hunting big game animals, they quickly realized they needed a way to preserve the meat. And there were times when a village could eat an entire deer, pig, or elk in one meal, but they were few and far between. Often meat would rot. And so pemmican is a mixture of dry meat, rendered fat, nuts, and dried fruits. It was designed to provide protein, sugars, and fats in a form that could be preserved for months. There are several ways to make pemmican base. So pemmican is a way they dry stuff. The more ingredients you add, the shorter the shelf life. So, and it got the formula how you do it. Also, cuno or chuno, Chuno, bacalao or bacalao. Bacalao is fish, traditionally cod, erul. So we got all these different superfoods. The next one is The Lost Book of Remedies. This one is by Claude Davis. This is amazing. Like I said, this one, I mean, when you really get into cleaning up what you eat and you really start living it, adding with working out and meditating and living right, because it's all that concoction, yeah, you start seeing results, you know? So this book was created to provide information about natural remedies, cures, and remedies that people have used in the past. The information is made available with the knowledge that the publisher, editor, author do not offer any legal or otherwise medical advice. Of course, that's disclaimers. But man, I mean, I don't even know where to start. I just recommend you to get this. And like I said, you can get this from me, PDF. And if you want to print and bind it, you can go to Office Max or Staples, or my colleagues can print it and bind it for you at our company at bindedbooks.com, and it'll be the same price Amazon. I mean, not Amazon, but Office Max or Staples, or he may give you a good deal. But let's see. Dr. Davis believed that all diseases were caused by one of 3 things: invasions by bacteria, virus, fungus, or other organisms. Let me give one analogy too. Just like when people be misquoting viruses like herpes and things, and say, "Oh, you can do this to do that." I don't care. Like you got to be honest with things. When I tell people, you just give for educational purposes, and don't say like this is matter factual, because a lot of stuff people hear for the first time on the internet when you've been around, like I've been around and been able to study and be honest with things. And like I said, I'm 48. You can discredit a lot of stuff from the research that they know where it come from. But since you put it out there, sometimes people just roll with it. I'm telling you, and you can be sincere, but then when your heart is pure, you can admit when you sincerely wrong. See, that's the thing of a just heart. When I say I don't have nothing to sell you, I don't tell you to buy my program, or I don't got no magic of Jack and the Beanstalk pills. I ain't on here trying to package them and say, okay, now buy my pills. That for what? The pills is pills. Now my brothers they have a tea company, My Son Teas, and that's where I get all my herbal teas from. You know, all my herbs and things. You know, that's what we do. But okay, he said invasions by bacteria, virus, fungus, or another organism, environmental and usually enabled by an ineffective immune system. That's like an ineffective immune system. I'll just give it in the perspective of your helper T cells. If you know what your helper T cells are those cells that help you fight off disease and things. So say some people get a cold and be real sick than a dog. Their helper T cells might be depleted. Is it a way to build your helper T cells back up? Absolutely. If you don't have no other something real medical going on with you, and you know what I mean. But he used herbs with antibiotic, antiviral, and antifungal properties for treating these diseases and strengthening the immune system whenever possible. That's key. And this is for educational purpose only. What? Strengthening your immune system. I'll give an analogy. You don't just go to the medicine man when you are depleted. You just, for instance, if you go to the medicine man to stay that way and say any type of sickness may prevent itself, something airborne, your immune system will be built up in a certain way. I'm not saying you're not gonna get sick, but it's more favorable for you when your immune system is built up a certain way. It's gonna fight. You know, it's gonna fight. I use the analogy of your cup of runneth over. How do you shake the devil off? Prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting. Think about what I'm saying. Fasting is eating clean. Toxin in the body, either formed from an environment or from ingesting the wrong foods. Unfortunately, the toxins in the modern environment have increased to the point that almost all of us need to detoxify regularly. Toxins can cause disease and hormonal imbalances that manifest as illnesses. Lack of something that the body needs. Caused by a nutritional lack of improper absorption of the body or by the body. These diseases benefit from eating a wide variety of foods, plants, and herbs. The entire diet should be examined, since excess of one food could also cause problems. That's why I say balance. That's why I say if anything going on, you have to start from that. That's why I tell people balance. All I drink is watermelon juice. Man, who told you to just drink watermelon juice? You can do whatever you want, but I wouldn't recommend that for no one. Is watermelon juice good? Yeah, I make it. Here, I got some right here. I make it fresh. Very good. But lack of something can cause that too. The entire diet should be examined. In many cases, his treatment would address all three areas of disease causation, seeking to detoxify the body, strengthen the immune system, and nourish the body, and treat any infections at the same time. Some herbs did all three, while other times he would prescribe herbs in combination to address each of these areas. If a patient had a kidney disease, he would choose herbs to detoxify the kidneys, nourish the blood, and treat the kidney infection. Even in diseases like cancer, he believed that secondary infections set in as the immune system is weakened, were a major cause for a bad prognosis. Man, I wish one of my mufti was on here, man. I shared a video. And I can't think of the doctor. He had to go to another country, and the government tried to take his patent, but when they took his patent, it wasn't working because he kept one thing out of it. Oh man, I wish my muftis was on here because I got it in my files, but they be on it. I wish one of my brothers was on here, and you can watch it on YouTube and watch it, and it's touching. And you know, the beginning to make you is touching, you know. But even when treating a broken bone, my grandfather would be thinking of how to strengthen the body and make sure that it healed properly. He tried to treat the underlying causes of disease whenever possible, rather than the symptoms. And he always looked at the patient as a whole, you know. So I just want to, man, it just got so much. Plant identification, it's just so much, man. I'll be in there forever. But before I get into the last one and break it down, I want to show something because somebody just asked me about it. 1 second. And it's this right here. How can I put it down? Okay. So this right here. Do anybody know what they're looking at? Who this is? I said I'm always share things with everybody. Do anybody know who this is? When I said I'm always share things, when people talk about stuff and then you be like, man, how you get that? And you be looking at, I'm gonna have everything for you. You know, I have a lot of these books, hard copy, I convert them to PDF so I can make them available to all my brothers and sisters. A lot of the books I got, ancient books like Russian Icons by Vladimir Ivanov and Melanin, the Chemical Key to Black Greatness, cost thousands of dollars. Do anybody know who this is right here? Anybody? Anybody know who this brother is right here? Anybody? Do anybody know who this brother is right here? Anybody? But my other son, he was like, man, you got all that? Yeah, absolutely. And he said, take it. I'll put a closer look. Anybody know who that gentleman is? And now this brother is from Honduras. Dr. Sebi was from Honduras. Dr. Edward Shook's famous course in herbology for home study. So when you see a lot of people on these TikTok videos and they say talk about Dr. Sebi and they talk about the doctor from Honduras, this is him. This is him. And it got all, like I said, I'm never going to keep things from nobody. Never, never. That's why when I see a lot of people on the internet and things, and you profess one thing and that and the other, and I say, you don't have to take my course. I'm a map and a guide. I'm going to give it to you. It's on you to do it. I'm a teacher. Because it's never my way. But a person will, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to, if I'm a master teacher per se, or I have manuals, I don't want to spoon feed you. I mean, your life is dependent on what? The information. You know, especially if for you to have it and for your children. You need to buy my course. You can come to class and you can get everything. I have a full library. I make concoctions. You can make them with me. You can get my contact. I'm an ally, an asset. That's why I tell people you can support our temple and school. You can get a tax exempt receipt. You can give donation, but you don't have to be paying for nothing. You know. But let me just give a preface to this, and we're going to get into the meat. Of late years, there has been a growing demand for all parts of the world by persons who are interested in natural means of combating disease for a book which will give a conscious yet comprehensive treatise on mechanical plants, their use, and their compatible combinations. This book has been written to fill the need. It represents years of painstaking accumulations of database upon practical experience by Dr. Edward E. Shook. I think it is, however, appropriate to explain with a few introductory words why herbs are better suited for the treatment of disease than chemical and other substances foreign to the human body. Herbs are the product of nature, containing many substances, very finely distributed, which are necessary for building up and maintaining the cell of all the organs of the body, and are of great help in the performance of vital functions. They contain their substances partly in the same condition as they are present in the human system, allowing direct assimilation, and partly so that they can be readily taken up in the circulation of the blood after undergoing certain changes in the digestive tract. All the laboratories of the world will never be able to supplant the remarkably fine process which takes place in the living cell. They will never successfully imitate the wonderful methods that nature used in performing its work in the plants, as well as in the human body. It is true that our body contains minerals, but the minerals cannot be taken readily directly by the system. They must be obtained from a living cell of either plant or animal life. Plants have the power of taking up mineral substances through the roots from the soil and assimilate and transform them in such a way that they may be utilized as food as well as medicine. Yep. The human body, on the other hand, has not the ability of directly assimilating mineral substances and therefore cannot utilize them in any way. There is nothing mysterious about medicinal plants. They are God's gift to man for him to use. And the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf for medicine. That's Ezekiel 47:12. For all my Christians and biblical people. Let me also point out that this science of herbology has many powerful enemies in the country, which are trying to suppress by legislation the use of any food supplement herbs, and even more so as medicine. This freedom of choice is no longer a right. Many good herbs and vitamins are now restricted. George Cervilla, all rights reserved. No part of this book may be, you know how they be panhandling and stuff. And all these books was given to me, you know. Herbs of Mexico, you know. And it just breaks so much down, you know, of the concoctions and breaking things down together. And this is herbology for home study, you know. I don't want to stay too far in it because, like I said, I have all these for anyone that's interested. All you got to do is get with me. You know, get your library full. And so I'm going to touch on 2 chapters in here. I got about 15, 20 minutes left. And so I wanted to start on, and this is amazing science. But I'm going to start on page 113 and just talk about a little bit of the immune system, like bacterial infection protocol. Our skin and mucous membranes serve as our main lines of defense against invading pathogens like bacteria. When our skin integrity becomes compromised, such as if we fall and get scratched or cut, or if bacteria are able to penetrate our initial defenses, then we become infected. It is now the job of our immune system to identify, to fight, or otherwise block or destroy those bacteria. Like when you fall in, your scab come. That's the defense. If our immune systems are not able to retire or destroy them, it can spread to other areas of our body. For example, bacteria in a superficial wound on the toe can spread to the bone, and the infection can spread up to the foot and toward the leg if our circulation is compromised and our immune cells are not able to address the infection in a timely manner. Therefore, if the bacterial infection spreads to the blood, this can lead to what they call sepsis and even sometimes death. This is why it's critical that we support our immune system and address bacterial infections promptly. So, of course, you have I like to call a triangle of how things to be done and herbs and diets, etc. But I just want to kind of stay in context and kind of skim through this. And like I said, we're going to have all these available for you. I definitely recommend you to, we got some new private classes coming up where it's not going to be on social media and things, because a lot of things don't need to be shared, you know. But I like to cast my net out and share things with the world. But several different types of infections that we are susceptible to. These include urinary tract infections, ear infections, skin infections, throat infections, respiratory infections, vaginal infections, gastrointestinal infections. Risk for bacterial infection varies from person to person. Like children, they are at risk for middle ear infections because of the shape of their, how can I say, Eustachian tubes. If I'm pronunciating it wrong, please correct me, because those tubes are shorter and more narrow and horizontal than adult tubes, you know. Therefore, air and fluid do not move in them as readily. Bacteria can become trapped, leading to middle ear infections. Both children and older individuals are at greater risk for these infections. Children's immune system are still developing, and immune system functions begin to deteriorate. People with disorders that lead to impaired circulation and vessel and organ damage like diabetes, peripheral artery disease, have wounds that heal more slowly. And since the integrity of the skin remains compromised for longer periods of time after injury, bacteria have a greater opportunity to colonize wounds. So being diagnosed with multiple chronic diseases and or taking multiple medications can decrease the rate of healing and lead to an increased susceptibility to infection, meaning you're more prone to infection. Our bodies require nutrients to repair damaged tissues. Being malnourished increases our risk for infection, increased healing time. Just like say if a person doesn't drinking watermelon juice and you're not getting all those nutrients to keep your bones strong, you're more susceptible to have other things and heal a little bit slower. Fecal or urinary, and a lot of times your urine will change and all that. You know, it's just like when people was in military and why salt was so important. Salt was important. You needed that. You need a certain amount of salt in your system, aka the cell salts per se. But that's a whole nother conversation. But fecal or urinary, those symptoms and being bedbound increase risk of infection. Fecal and urinary, those things increase the likelihood of skin breakdown in the person is not changed in a timely manner. And the bacteria and feces or in the environment can then infect the wounds that arise when skin breaks down. Being confined to a bed increases the risk for these things, for ulcers, bed sores. That's why I always recommend when people say they just gonna lay in the bed. No, don't lay in the bed. If you have the energy, you get up because you should be taking things to build your immune system up. You want to get up. You want to sweat. Those things are natural. You know, just like when even young girls, when mothers, when I remember when I was tutoring and I used to see young girls, even young men, and a lot of the things that the classes that I was trying to recommend, they have classes for the young girls just to show them certain etiquettes and how to wipe and things, and how to do these things, instead of from one way, you go that way. And when you do it the wrong way, it significantly increases the risk for urinary tract infections. Colonic bacteria can colonize the urethra and ascend up the urinary tract. You know, cooking foods to appropriate temperatures. Just like eating certain things. And if you are a big meat eater, it's certain reasons why you cooked it and things like that. If you like meat, certain animals, they just eat the meat. But we don't like meat like that. It have to be seasoned. But temperatures, washing, produce helps get rid of certain things. Like gastrointestinal infections. Wash for pain in the stomach or abdomen, nausea and vomiting, frequent bowel movements, diarrhea, pressure to go to the bathroom, but nothing comes out, loss of appetite, respiratory infections. Watch for congestion, pain in the facial region, sore throat, postnasal drips, mucus that's green, yellow or bloody, runny nose, cough, chest pain, shortness of breath, rapid and shallow breathing, fatigue, fever, vaginal infections. Watch for discharge, itching, burning, pain in the vagina, burning when urinating, or a stronger unpleasant odor. Ear infections. Watch for pain and tenderness inside and around the ear. Ear itching, fever, drainage, pressure in the ear, fatigue, and hearing loss. Throat infections. It's telling you what to watch for. So remove urinary tract infections. It's telling you what to watch for. Blood infections, spinal or brain infections. Remove immune disturbance. There are many factors that can disrupt normal immune functions, making us more susceptible to bacteria and other infection. These include sugar, artificial sweeteners. Like say if you drink coffee and you be putting that Splenda, you might as well put some sugar in it. Dairy, alcohol, tobacco, processed food, which I like to call GMO, genetically modified organisms, sugar. The immune system needs glucose to perform its basic functions. However, when we consume too much glucose is sugar, our immune system function becomes impaired. So when I talk about something like this right here, watermelon juice, I just broke some science down that told you too much of something can be bad for you. And our risk for infection and disease increase. Glucose plays a major role in regulating the immune system. However, when glucose levels are higher than they should be, it leads to increased production for inflammatory cytokines or cytokines. I might be pronouncing it wrong. Cytokines, cytokines, low-grade inflammation, and immune system, how it just dysregulates. It just be operating not at its full capacity. Then you limit your intake of added sugar to reduce your risk for infection and increase your immune system likelihood of overcoming them. You got to get rid of those artificial sweeteners, dairy, alcohol, tobacco, processed foods. Now, herbs. There are several herbs that exhibit antimicrobial activity against various strains of bacteria, support optimal immune function, and the production of new infection-fighting white blood cells, and modulate inflammation. So we're going to talk about those things, the multi-purpose antibacterial and immune modulating herbs. It's astragalus, astragalus, astragalus membranes, astragalus leaves, astragalus. I'm going to give you a couple of these. Those are leaves and root demonstration. When I go to the Indian store, I'm going to show you all of them probably tomorrow. No, I won't be able to do it tomorrow, probably Monday. Demonstrate antibacterial activity against a variety of bacteria, including Salmonella, Bacillus staphylococcus, and all these other, diseases. But the leaf, the astragalus leaf, the astragalus, that leaf, and you can get it as a leaf tish, it shows antibacterial activity against all those. That leaf also upregulates various elements of immune system function. So when those things going on, that's exactly what you need. These things are keys. I write it down, matter of fact, so as I go. And so when I go to the store, I'll break everyone down for y'all again. Yeah, I'll show you where to get all of it from. And then, let me see. So it said you should only be used with caution or the under the guidance of a trained herbalist or a naturopathic doctor in individuals with autoimmune conditions. Suggested doses 3 to 9 grams of dry root daily, or 4 dropfuls of a 1.5 tincture 3 times daily, or as a decoction or concoction preferred 1 tablespoon per cup of water 2 to 3 times daily. Echinacea, Echinacea. Monocytes are a type of white blood cells that normally circulate in the blood. When tissue becomes damaged or infected, monocytes travel to the tissue and become macrophages. White blood cells that phagocytes, or it's like a form of, I'll just say, these type of blood cells that eat bacteria and other pathogens. So the Acina or Acina, Echinacea, it upregulates the those functions. Also promote the initial activity of those cells. So it's so much, man. Also, when I talk about olive leaf, I got the oregano in there. Like when I make my teas, I got the natural teas. So all these concoctions you make, thyme, turmeric. Then the certain medical mushroom, the reishi. Now it's also reishi teas, and it's not just one particular reishi tea. It ain't just one particular. Now you always want to get the best of everything when you're doing this. Why? Because you can. You know. Also, I use the lion's mane. You know. And so then it started breaking down things: ear infections, garlic and mullein flower for ear infections. It got things for respiratory, because I just don't want to stay for urinary tract infection. Heard for cleansing, washing, dressing, and healing external wounds. Other herbs used for external, like diet and specific foods. You know, garlic. You know, raw honey, apple cider vinegar, ginger, foods high in vitamin C. You know, citrus, kiwi, bell pepper, strawberries, tomatoes. Vegetables like cabbage, bok choy, broccoli, kale, cauliflower, and everybody say, be like, well, no, Dr. CB said broccoli there. Okay, well, I'm just, you do whatever you want to do. When you see the Herbology for Home study, you do what makes you right. When they say this man-made, a lot of stuff is man-made. I get it. Is it good for you? You tell me. Brussels sprout, mustards, greens, and other green leafy vegetables. Organic bone broth. And that's what I tell when a lot of people fast, and I say add organic bone broth. Make sure it's good bones, because the broth is bone, so you want to make sure the bones are good. You know, bone broth is nourishing and healing. It helps reduce inflammation, soothe the digestive tract, strengthen bones, increases energy, aids in wounds healing, especially when you fast. And that's what I do. I always take that bone broth, and now I take it daily. Bone broth feeds healthy gut bacteria, leading to the production of healthy immune cells. You know, so it's so much, man. Salt water gargle. When we talk about the bacteria, and I also do oil pulling. You know, it's good with the bacterial infections in your skin. You know, Gargling with salt water may help with reversal of bacteria from gums, reduce halitosis, gingivitis, all these things. Neti pot, saline nasal irrigation, steam inhalation with essential oils. Those things are very simple to do, So, like I said, I just wanted to share some things with you because I'm going to get deeper and deeper as we go through some things, as I show you concoctions, as I show you the herbs, as I show you, and you just want to add things to you. If you want to consult with your team or whatever you call it, you do those things. But I'm just showing you some healthy things that you can just think about. Just changing the way you eat, can do a lot, because the foods you consume significantly impact your risk of viral illnesses, especially foods that suppress or otherwise impair your immune system function, like sugar, refined carbohydrates. It increases your risk of viral infection. Diets rich in whole foods like nutrient-rich fruits, vegetables support optimal immune system functions, protects against viral infection because the immune-related benefits of whole foods have been attributed to higher concentrations of polyphenols, all those flavonoids, alkaloids, steroids, pigments, all those unsaturated fatty acids, vitamins and minerals like garlic, probiotic foods like for your gut, Try probiotic foods, drinking probiotic drinks each meal, There's certain things that you can do, But like I said, that organic bone broth and fasting. And fasting, you can do intermediate fasting. How? Like through the day. How you just don't how people say lunch, dinner, and breakfast, take some intermediate fasting. But always research what you're doing, Also, I always talk about sleeping. Is all these things is so important. Exercising, your hygiene, hydration. So it's so much. And we're going to definitely touch on these topics a little bit more later in the week. It talks about, I'll get that little last part. It talks about menopause, the biological process that occurs when the menstrual cycle ends. Technically, you have reached menopause after you have gone 1 year without a menstrual cycle. While menopause can happen when a woman is in her 40s, the average age for a woman to officially enter menopause in the United States is 51. The year leading up to menopause, when a woman may experience changes in her menstrual cycle, hot flashes, and other symptoms, is a traditional phase called premenopause. The duration of menopause depends on a variety of factors, whether the woman smokes, blah, blah, blah. They say race, ethnicity, blah, 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 But it talks about some of those things and the stages and protocols. But bone health, that's very important during these things. But then it talks about some herbs that contain calcium and pathogenogens and other nutrients that support bone health. And it also recommends when you see a physician before beginning a daily routine to make sure you need additional estrogen. For information on these herbs and supplements can be found on those protocols, the osteoporosis protocol. So when I talk about dandelion leaves contain high amount of vitamins A, C, E, K, and also provide calcium, potassium, iron, folate, magnesium. You can add the leaves to salad, but I like to make teas out of a lot of these things, The Ephedrine plants, fairy wing, or the horny goat, for a lot of people, they say, man, I'll take horny goat for certain things. Okay. They have some of the same ingredients or the same benefits as soy and inhibits activity and slows down bone breakdown. When women took these extract with their calcium supplement for 2 years, they had maintained bone density, whereas the women their age who took calcium alone still lost density. and it suggests doses of 200 milligram capsules or 2 dropful tinctures extract a day. Hops, Humulus lupulus, hop flowers. Like hops. I think the hops, what they put in the beer, they have potent activities. Hops may be used in a combination with red clover. If you have issues such as insomnia, anxiety, hops is an excellent nervine and sedative. You can read more about hops for better sleep and less anxiety and sleep protocols. And later in this chapter, red clover, you know, it plays a prominent role in bone health. Recent studies showed that red clover influences estradiol concentration, exercise performance, and gut microbiota. All great news for menopausal women. And then it says, I suggest use a black chorus red clover tincture daily to combat hot flashes. Red raspberry. Red raspberry leaf can nourish the body with extra calcium, potassium, iron, magnesium, vitamin B, C, and E. It also supports a healthy uterus. Has been used for centuries. Studies for its effect on easing labor and delivery. Red raspberry leaf can help tone the uterus and may help prevent uterine fibroids that can worsen with menopause. Also in this chapter, you can see women's sexual health protocol. We're going to touch on it. Stinging nettle. Emotional health. It's just so much. Ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is an exceptional herb for balancing hormones. It improves mood by helping fortify your adrenals via the HPA axis and also supports underactive hypothyroid. This is helpful for women who are experiencing a slow metabolism post-menopause. A 2019 study found that adults who took 125 to 300 milligrams of ashwagandha extract twice daily for 8 weeks experienced lower stress, better sleep, and reduced blood cortisol levels. All three are important for balanced hormones, maintaining a healthy weight, and stabilizing moods. Do not take if you have hyperthyroid. Suggest dose 125 to 300 milligrams, 2 dropfuls, ashwagandha tincture twice daily. Of course, lavender, lemon balm, lion's mane, we talked about that, motherworth. It's just so much, man. Castor berry, of course, deep meditation, maintaining hot flashing and insomnia. It got all these in here. Black cohosh root. Black cohosh is a pathogen. It's a plant that can help raise estrogen levels, And night sweat studies show black cohosh to be an effective remedy for hot flashes and more powerful than evening pre-rose oils. Suggest 40 to 80 milligrams daily. Don Quai, it's another plant. Peppermint and aloe spray. Remedies for better sleep. Hops. I don't know. It's amazing. But I want to we'll break it down more and more Monday. I just wanted to show a little bit and just preface a little bit. Herbs and natural treatments for testosterone and libido. As men age, they're being affected by low testosterone increased significantly. Low testosterone affect around 40% of men age 45. Common symptoms include lower libido, erectile dysfunction, depression, trouble focusing, memory issue, fatigue, irritability, all these things. A decrease in body hair, weight gain, breast development, infertility. Remedies for low testosterone. It's natural remedies that aim to increase testosterone levels naturally. Before you begin a regimen, I recommend you see a doctor and have blood work conducted to make sure that the low testosterone is in fact your issue, So pine pollen, there are certain plants that contain hormones that act very much like human hormones. and can affect human hormonal production when taken regularly. Some plants contain estrogenic compounds, uh, estrogens, and some contain testosterone-like compounds. Pine pollen contains large amounts of testosterone. In the spring, the pine tree produces pollen. It can easily be harvested and tinctured to create a natural testosterone supplement. Suggested dose: 1 dropful up to 4 times daily. Vitamin D provides a number of benefits, including promoting bone health and supporting the immune system. It may also help increase testosterone levels. There is a link between men who have a vitamin D deficiency and low testosterone levels. So taking vitamin D supplement may help increase testosterone for men who have a severe deficiency. But yes, I tell you to get that natural sun. That's why I love being in Arizona, and I get me 2 hours of that natural vitamin D, which is that sun, because I'm sun kissed every single day. Get your levels tested. Suggest dose: take about 4,000 IU daily and spend 20 minutes in the sunlight daily, if possible, to get vitamin D naturally. But I spend 2 hours, whatever. Zinc is heavily involved in the production of testosterone. It also helps maintain sperm quality. Taking a daily zinc supplement may help to improve testosterone levels for men who have a zinc deficiency. Suggest 11 milligrams daily. You can also get this mineral from foods like poultry, seafood, nuts, beans, fortified cereals, some dairy products. Don't exceed the daily recommended amounts. Saw palmetto. Saw palmetto is popular for prostate health. It may also be beneficial for raising testosterone levels. Reishi, the mushroom is a great choice for men health issues. Hormonal imbalances and oxidant properties help protect and nourish many body systems, including reproductive systems. That mushroom, it helps modulate the body's stress response, all these things. Natural remedies to enhance libido. Low libido and low testosterone seems to go hand in hand. A low sex drive can also be the result factors such as stress, medications, chronic illness, depression, low self-esteem, aging, insomnia, alcohol, drug use, whatever. If you have experienced a low libido for extended amount of time, it may be a prudent to see your doctor. But you have certain things that they call like American ginseng, Panax, Panax ginseng, is proven libido enhancing effects. Suggest dose 1,000 milligrams daily and increase this slowly if needed. Don't exceed 4,500 milligrams. Of course, ashwagandha, the rhodiola or the rhodiola, RHODIOLA. So then we'll talk a little bit. One of my homies said, "Yeah, you on fire." And I'm just giving, the information. I have all this available for you. I have all these available for you. Everything that I have available for you. Erectile dysfunction, the acronym ED, is also called impotence. You can't, arrive to the occasion. It occurs when the penis fails to become or stay erect during sexual activity. While cases of ED aren't detrimental to man's health, they can certainly be detrimental to man's self-esteem and lead to relationship issues. But it's ways that the penis, due to a blockage, you should see your doctor. But diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, all these other things, low testosterone levels are thought to be the most common cause of ED. The most common kind of sexual dysfunction in men. But it's certain things that you can take, and once you figure out what's going on with you, like I say, this is for educational purpose only. It's important to see your doctor. Well, we talked about the ginseng and the garlic, and the additional herbs, the arginine or the arginine, the ARGININE, the amino acid, the arginine or argine, is something in that. It may help the blood vessels to increase the blood flow to the, for men with ED. And a study was done in 2017. It showed that men with ED tend to have lower levels of that L-arginine, the L-arginine. Do not take this supplement along other ED medications. Suggest doses 6 to 30 grams daily, divided into 3 equal doses. Profilol, L-carnitine, Propionlyl-L carinite or carinite, carinitine. If diabetes is contributing to your ED, this supplement improves ED. When taking along with the sildenafil or sildenafil or sildenafil or sildenafil, sildenafil, as opposed to taking sildenafil alone. Sildenafil is a generic version of the popular ED pharmaceutical Viagra. And then it says suggested doses 500 to 2,000 milligrams daily. DHEA is responsible for helping to create sex hormones like testosterone and estrogen, or natural levels decrease as we age. So this may contribute to a decrease in sexual function. You know, so much, man. So much. Prostate protocol, you know. It's just so much, family. Talked about the different types, 4 types of prostatitis, you know. Symptoms of that include pelvic region pain, scrotum and anus pain, abdominal pain, lower back pain, scrotum pain, you know, prostate cancer, just so much. You got diet, colorful fruits and vegetables is very vital. Vitamin C rich foods you want to eat, zinc rich foods, eat more lymphophene, you know, vegetables, green teas, natural sources of omega-3s. So it's just so much, man. Like I said, and we'll get specific as we dive into praying and fasting, you know, and just doing what we can do, you know, to live productive as we're in the flesh. So I just wanted to share that. But like I said, that was Holistic Guide to Wellness, Herbal Protocols for Common Ailments. We also shared the Book of Remedies by Claude Davis. Amazing. We also shared the Lost Book of Remedies. The Lost Book of Superfoods by Charlie Evans. Also, the Lost Book of Remedies by Mary Newman. And also, I didn't have time to go pull it out, but I'll have it, on my file. Herbology for Home Study, Dr. Edward Shultz, famous course in herbology, the Honduras brother, where Dr. CB got a lot of the science from. It's in here. The concoctions, everything is in here. Everything. And you'll hear people talk about this on TikTok and all that. If you want them, like I said, I have the whole book. I study everything. I make concoctions, but you make your own arcana. But I'm here to share everything with you, just like any other source, If you want it, if you want to support, if not, like I said, you can get anything from me right now for a small donation. But I do have a book company. It's mypdfbooks.com. It's mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where we print, where you can get books downloaded to your phone or your tablet. And then we have bindedbooks.com, where we print and bind expensive and rare books. That's super expensive on Amazon, and we have them. A lot of books was given to me in my academic career, and I have a lot of honor and gratitude for professors and things that gave me full libraries. I have 2 full storage units to the top with all different history and things. I have a full library in my personal storage unit at home. I have a full library at home. And I just here, like I said, I'm here to share the wisdom. It's nothing hidden. And once we come together and understand some things, we'll have a clear understanding. You know, we're going to talk about the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendment next week. Really start breaking some things down so you can see what this world is about. But I give everyone gratitude for taking time out y'all day. If you want any of the literature, all you got to do is get with me. You know, we might have this available in a PDF form real soon once we talk to a couple people. But if you're interested in everything else I just showed, you can get it. And this is one of my the books that I gathered and compiled. It's Healthy Eating and Living. It's the old cover. You know, I redid some cover, and I'm getting ready to remaster a lot of my books that I gathered and compiled myself. I gathered and compiled like 12 books, some history books, some science books, coloring books for kids. But in my Healthy Eating and Living book, I show some workouts that I like to do, just some basic stuff that you can go, if you just introduction to getting the workout, you can do at home because we work out together as a group, you know, through the week. And then some of the smoothies that I make, you know, concoctions that I like to make, just say when you want to have something sweet, you can make certain things that may be sweet, but then are good for you. And they show you how to do things on your own, like juicing and making your teas, so you don't be dealing with all that sugar and all that extra when you make things, you know. So thank everyone for taking time out y'all day, man. I give y'all gratitude. I give y'all honor. Like I said, I'm here to just spread love and light. If there's nothing here that's illuminating to you, then gratitude, you know, please exclude yourself. But if anything was illuminating to you, thank you for taking time out your day. And anything you need, you know how to get with me, man. I'm available to you. Please subscribe to our temple and school YouTube channel. It's called Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School, where we have book club every Friday, where my muftis teach. We have history and adapt class every Saturday, and we have Sunday school every Sunday. At the end of February, we're getting ready to start our private classes. That's going to be on private Zoom. We asked for a small donation. I forget what he said. I think it was like $25 a month or something. $10 for the class and $15 for the book each month. I think they give you a book. They send it to you as emails, and you download it on your tablet. Or you can go to Office Max and Staples and print it and bind it. Or I think one of the brothers will print it for you for a small fee. But that's going to be something that they're putting together. It's going to be amazing, man. And I really recommend true light seekers and brothers and sisters that really want to learn some history, some more science, some spirituality, some Gnosticism, some Rosicrucian, some real history and also have access to the wisdom, and just build a community and see what do we have in common, you know, and start to really do some things that really make sense and start to really accomplish some things that we can do instead of complaining. But I love everyone, man. I hope everybody support our temple and school, and I hope everybody enjoy this demonstration. Peace.